These are the top 5 meta weapons to use for Black Ops 6 Range Play Season 2. And I'm recording this part of the video before the new season drops. So future me will tell you about class number 5. And we're doing it live. The ppsh 41, it's only allowed for a week in ranked play. We've already used it in private match. It's absolutely absurd. We already have a class for it too. This gun kills way too fast and it's not going to be allowed in ranked after a week. So you want to use this exact class as fast as you can because this gun is incredibly OP. But long story short, for the muzzle, we're using the compensator for vertical recoil control and vertical recoil control only. You might want to use the ported as well. This gun shoots so fast and has so many bullets that go down range. You want the compensator more than you want the ported. You don't really care about the first shot as much. For the barrel, we're rocking long barrel strictly for damage range. Some people might do reinforced as well. It does bump up that bullet velocity, but 530 as a base is already really good. So that's why we're sticking with the long barrel. This gun does not have a rear grip, but we are going to use the underbarrel. You could use the vertical, but you want to be fast and in people's faces, so that's why we're going to rock the Ranger foregrip. And here's where things get a little bit mixy. There is no rear grip, and the traditional rear grip that we use on all classes is the ergonomic rear grip. For whatever reason, with that in mind, they added an ergonomic stock that does the same thing as the ergonomic rear grip, except in a stock form. So the last attachment under fire mods, we're going to use the recoil springs for horizontal recoil control and vertical recoil control. And this is going to be the ppsh class. Trust me, it's insane. Use it while you can. Now with the ppsh done, we're going to move on to class number 4 is the Cypher 091, a brand new AR. It kind of feels just like the Holger from MW3, if you remember that. For the muzzle on this one, we're going to rock the compensator as well. Might want to mess around with the ported on this one as well, but after messing around with both, I think I like the compensator more just because the majority of the recoil seems to come after the first couple shots. For the barrel, we're going with reinforced for damage range and bullet velocity. Very traditional for an assault rifle in the first place, so I'd rock that. This class fortunately does have a rear grip still, unlike the ppsh, so we'll be able to build it more traditionally. For the underbarrel, we're going vertical foregrip. We're not going to go with a crossbow unless they allow it in ranked. We are going to go with the vertical foregrip. For the rear grip, more traditionally, like we were talking about earlier, we're going to use the ergonomic grip for the slide to fire, dive to fire, and aim down sight speed. And then the very last attachment for this one, the iron sights really aren't that bad. If you're used to the iron sights and you feel okay with them in the firing range, it might not actually be half bad to go over to either the stock, maybe try a balanced stock, or a fire mod. Do you like the recoil springs or the overpressured? I think I like the idea of having the Kepler Microflex as the optic. So this is the class that I'm going to use for the Cypher. And there you have it. Range play will come out later today. If you're seeing this video, that means range play is live. I'm not going to publish it till it's live, so have fun. And that is class number 4. With that being done, we're going to class number 3 is the KSV. We've gone over this weapon before, but it's super situational. Something you want to use up close and personal. My favorite examples are AS&D on Volt or a P4 on Protocol or somewhere where you're going to be up in people's faces, using the up close damage range of this gun to its potential. That being said, for the muzzle, we're choosing compensator for vertical recoil control. The recoil on this gun is not super easy to control, but you're not going to be challenging anything long range. And if you do, you're probably going to get punished for it. That being said, the next attachment is the long barrel. The reason we're doing this is to bump out that close range damage range as far as we can, because that's where this gun succeeds. If you can find people up close or even close to medium range, you're going to kill them before they can even realize that you're there. Even if they have one of the more meta weapons like the Jackal or the Ames, if you catch them up close, it's over. You can try the reinforced if you're really worried about bullet velocity, but I promise you long barrel will be better in the long run. Up next for the underbarrel, we're going to choose the Ranger foregrip or horizontal recoil control and for sprinting movement speed. You can try the vertical foregrip for a little bit more help with recoil control, but speed in my opinion is going to be way more important with this gun because, like I said, the goal is to get in people's faces. For the rear grip, we're using the ergo grip for slide to fire, dive to fire, and aim down sight speed. This is the rear grip to go with, so that's the one we're going to rock. And the last attachment, the stock, is going to be the balanced stock for strafing movement speed, and then hip fire and aim walking movement speed. All perfect, well-rounded for this gun. However, like I said, this is a very situational gun and not one that you want to be using all the time, and definitely not at all ranges. And with that being said and the KSV out of the way, let's move on to class number 2, which is the Jackal PDW. If you've been keeping up with my channel, you know that I've gone back and forth on a couple different classes, but this is the one that I've landed on for the time being. We are going to stick with the compensator for the vertical recoil control. Very consistent. I mean, some people rock the ported, but compensator ends up being the way. For the barrel, this is where I've switched back and forth. I've said reinforced for a while. I've said long barrel for a while. And I haven't fully decided between these two until now. We are officially sticking with a long barrel, and this is, I believe, for for the long term, unless the pros completely get rid of the barrel, which is what they're thinking about doing. Until then, use the long barrel. Yes, the bullet velocity is going to suffer a little bit, but when you're challenging people at consistent ranges that you will be challenging people with this SMG, the long barrel ends up being worth it for that damage range. Yes, you might notice lack of bullet velocity if you're shooting at somebody that's moving from side to side, but completely worth it to bump out the damage range into the middle to long range for this gun. On top of that, we're adding a Ranger foregrip for the underbarrel. This is for the horizontal recoil control and sprinting movement speed that we were talking about earlier. And then last two attachments you can guess is the rear grip that we always use, the ergonomic grip for slide to fire, dive to fire, aim down sight speed. And then the very last attachment is the balance stock for help with everything across the board, movement related and handling related for the Jackal PDW. This is going to be probably the final Jackal PDW class unless the pros end up getting rid of the barrel. If that does happen, I will update with a video later down the road, but this is going to be your traditional meta CDL loadout for the time being. And with that out of the way, the final class number 1 is going to be the Ames 85. This class should not surprise you, although there are a couple of different versions of this class that we'll get into in a little bit. The consistent parts are going to be the Kepler Microflex, which ends up being the best of the optics. For the muzzle, you can go back and forth between the compensator or the ported compensator. For me, I've really been enjoying the ported comp because especially long range, you're going to want to eliminate your opponent within the first 6 or 7 bullets anyways. So the ported compensator with that first shot recoil control helps out a ton. For the barrel, previously we've used the gain twist, we've used the long barrel, but now I'm stuck on the reinforced for help with both damage range and bullet velocity. These are both things that you want to extend. You want as much help with this range as you can, and it makes this gun very well rounded so that you can use it at close, medium, and long range, whereas some of the other attachments like the long barrel or the gain twist might help mainly with that long range potential. The reinforced helps with everything. The underbarrel, we're going to use the vertical foregrip. We have used the Ranger foregrip previously, but to help with the beaming long range that you'll have to do on some of the maps like Vault from top ammo or top art, or like Protocol if you're challenging somebody at the grass street, you want to have something like the vertical foregrip to make sure that you hit all of those shots. And then the last attachment, of course, for the rear grip is going to be the ergonomic grip for slide to fire, dive to fire, and aim down sight speed. Other versions of this class that I've seen are getting rid of the underbarrel and using recoil springs. This does change the recoil pattern a little bit more, but I've had the most luck with using the vertical foregrip for the underbarrel. Try out a couple different classes and find which one works best for you. At the end of the day, the Ames 85 is so good. You put whatever 5 attachments that you want and you're going to be able to succeed, trust me. And those are my top 5 meta loadouts for Black Ops 6 ranked play. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, or if you're enjoying the season, let me know with a like or a subscribe down below, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.